Hi, welcome to Maker Nexus. My name's Craig, and today we're going to help you build your Pinewood Derby car here in the woodshop. Now, before we go back in the woodshop, there are a couple rules I want to go over. Rule number one is you need to walk at all times. There's sawdust on the floor and it can be quite slippery. So please walk whenever you're in the woodshop. Rule number two is keep your hands to yourself. There are tools in the woodshop that can hurt you even though they're turned off. So please keep your hands away from the machinery unless you are actually working on the machines. Rule number three, no loose clothing. So if you have a jacket, you need to take it off. If you have long sleeves, you need to roll them up past your elbows. If you have a neckerchief, you need to take it off. And finally, fourth rule is everyone in the woodshop needs to wear safety glasses at all times. We have both kids and adult sizes, as well as ones that will fit over your regular glasses. So, now we've done that, let's talk about the tools we're going to be using today. So let's talk about the steps you'll be doing when you're in the woodshop to build your Pinewood Derby car. The first step will be designing your car. This is where you will draw on the actual block of wood the design of the car you would like to cut out. Step number two is we will cut that design out on the bandsaw. Then we will take it to the sanders to finalize the shape and to smooth it out. We'll do some hand sanding of that. And then finally, we're going to add a cavity onto the bottom of the car so that you can add lead weights. All Pinewood Derby cars need to weigh exactly 5 ounces, and so you need to add weight to the car to get it to 5 ounces. So we will assist you in making a cavity in your car. So now that we've gone over those steps, let's go take a look at the design step. The first step that you need to do is to draw your design on your block of wood. We have templates available to assist you, or you can come up with your own design. If you have a design that involves cutting on the top of the car, don't draw your design on the top, draw it on the bottom. Because when we cut the side piece, it's going to fall away, and if your drawing was on the top, it's going to disappear. Whereas if it's drawn on the bottom, it'll still be visible. Once you're done with your design, you can take it onto the bandsaw. This is the bandsaw. This is what we will be using to cut your car. You must be 8 years old in order to use the bandsaw. If you're under 8 years old, then your parent will cut your car for you. The bandsaw is a very safe tool as long as you remember a couple things. Number one is you keep your fingers outside of this silver circle. As long as you do that, you can't get hurt. Where most people get hurt on a bandsaw is not during the cut, but after the cut. See this piece of wood right here? People's instinct is to flick that out of the way. When doing so, their finger goes inside the silver circle, and that's where people get hurt. So if you see that piece of wood, just ignore it. It's not going to hurt anything. If it is in the way, we'll take a block of wood and move it out of the way. Now do not use the bandsaw unless an employee is standing right next to you on the bandsaw. We will show you how to place your hands and how to safely cut your car. Once you're done cutting your car on the bandsaw, we're then going to move over to the sander. This is the disc sander. This is one of 2 sanders you will use to shape your car. The disc sander spins in this direction. You want to keep your block of wood between the center and outside edge here, so it's pushing your block of wood down against the table. If you were to have it over on the other side, it could throw it up in the air and injure somebody. So always keep it between the center and this outside edge. Now this sander is good for doing outside curves and flat areas. So let's say we went around over the nose of this car. We would just lightly press it up against the sander. You want to keep it moving, just like this, and get it until your car is nice and smooth. You can also do the back here, round it over. This sander is also good for doing rounding over the front nose of the car. Now again, you want to keep your wood moving. If you hold it still, you're going to end up with a flat spot on your car. So you want to keep it moving back and forth, just like this. And we can do the other side. Now the sander is very safe, as long as you don't let your fingers touch the sandpaper. If you do, it's like falling down on asphalt outside. You know how you get that road rash? Same thing happens if you touch the sandpaper. Now, most boys and girls are really good about keeping their fingers away right here, where they're looking. Where they get in trouble is these knuckles will come and touch over here. So you want to keep both hands back when you're using the sander. This is the spindle sander. This is used to sand inside curves. When you turn it on, it rotates in a counterclockwise direction. You want to go clockwise around it at all times so you can sand inside your curve. So just go right to left, just like this. It doesn't take much to get a nice smooth finish. Some cars, because of their shape, you're going to have to hand sand. So over on the workbench, we have sandpaper and blocks of wood. Just take the sandpaper and sand it by hand to get in all those little nooks and crannies. Now that we have the cavity in the bottom of our car, we need to weigh it. So we're going to place it on the scale along with both the wheels and the axles and look at the readout to determine how much the car weighs. We can then determine how much weight we need to add. We sell the weights up front in our store. You can also get them at local hobby stores or at the Boy Scout office. Place the weight in the cavity and then reweigh the car. In this case, it was still a little bit light, so I'm going to add one more piece of lead, and the readout reads exactly 5.0 ounces. So this car is ready to go. Now you've seen all the tools we'll be using in the woodshop. In a few moments, a Maker Nexus employee will come and lead you back into the woodshop so you can get started. So have a great time and good luck in the race.